Earlier this year, a wine company recalled 40,000 bottles of Chilean red over an unauthorized additive. The whole industry ran the story. What nobody runs is the story of Mega Purple, a product developed by a subsidiary of Constellation Brands, sitting in an estimated 25 million bottles right now on shelves you visit every week, across countries, on every continent. Completely legal, not required to appear on any label you have ever read, and quietly restructuring the color, sweetness, and texture of cheap red wine since the early 1970s. By the end of this video, you won't look at a supermarket Cabernet the same way. Here are 7 types of cheap red wine where the bottle has been fixed, and 7 where the bottle is actually what it claims to be. Chapter Mega Purple Exposed. Number 1. Mass Market California Red, under $15. This is the category where Mega Purple runs deepest. The product comes from a grape called Rubired, itself descended from the Teinturier variety Alicante Boucher, a variety bred at UC Davis in the late 1950s by viticulturist Harold Olmo, specifically because both its flesh and skin are red, giving it the ability to turn anything it touches a darker shade of purple. It was engineered to dye wine. That is its sole function. Industry reporting puts the cost at around $135 a gallon. But producers add it in drops, not gallons, making the per bottle cost trivial. According to multiple industry sources, almost every producer making wine below $20 a bottle uses it. Darker color reads as higher quality to the average shopper, and the industry built its entire business model on that fact. A corrected wine sells. A pale one sits. Number 2. Any supermarket Pinot Noir under $20 that looks too dark. Pinot Noir is a thin-skinned grape. Its natural color runs from pale ruby to medium garnet, and in cooler vintages, it runs lighter still. If the Pinot in your glass is as dark as a Cabernet, something closed that gap between the vineyard and the bottle. Rubired concentrate pushes color into ranges a thin-skinned grape can't reach on its own. Winemakers who use Mega Purple know exactly what the darker color signals to the shopper, and they know it doesn't come from the fruit. Number 3. Any cheap red that tastes identical across 5 consecutive vintages. Wine is an agricultural product. Weather varies, grapes vary, wine varies. If you've been buying the same $12 label for 5 years, and it has tasted exactly the same every time, that is not quality control. It is chemistry. Mega Purple's job, in part, is to flatten vintage variation to make the 2021 taste like the 2022 and the 2023. So a repeat buyer is never disappointed. Consistency at that scale requires additives. Think about that the next time the back label says, consistent with our house style. Chapter Cheap Wine. Red flags. Number 4. Any cheap red with a smooth, sweet finish the price can't explain. Mega Purple contains 68% sugar. It doesn't just change the color of your bottle, it changes the taste. That polished, slightly sweet finish on a $12 Cabernet came from a Central Valley factory, not a vineyard. What it's also doing, according to industry sources, is masking pyrazines, the green, bell pepper compounds that signal underripe grapes, and covering up Brettanomyces, the barnyard smell yeast fault that indicates poor cellar hygiene. In other words, it's not just adding something, it's hiding something. And here is the part that should bother you. The FDA and the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau require disclosure for artificial colorants in wine. Mega Purple doesn't require disclosure because it's derived from grapes, which qualifies it as a natural ingredient. Compare that to sulfites, which every wine label is legally required to disclose. The law doesn't make the producer tell you about Mega Purple, so they don't. Now let that sit for a second. Number 5. Any cheap red with purple legs that stain the glass unusually dark. Swirl the wine and watch what clings to the sides. Natural pigment from grape skins behaves one way. Rubired enhanced color behaves another. A San Francisco Museum of Modern Art exhibition in 2010 described Mega Purple as surreptitiously used to darken wine. That is a careful phrase. It means the insiders know, the industry knows, and the consumer is the last to find out. When a reporter asked one winemaker directly, the answer came back. Mega what? With what the journalist described as a faux perplexed look and a sly grin. Another winemaker stated plainly, on condition of anonymity, "If I used it, I wouldn't be talking on the record." That tells you everything. Number 6. Any sub-$20 red whose aromatics have gone quiet. Wine expert Ellen Landis, speaking to Great Northwest Wine, stated it exactly. "I can see it, I can smell it, I can detect when the aromatic varietal characteristic is muted." When Mega Purple is overused, it suppresses the natural aromatics, the grape built across a growing season. A Tempranillo that should smell like dried cherry and leather starts smelling like a red blend. A Grenache that should smell like strawberry and white pepper smells like generic dark fruit. The variety disappears into the concentrate. Number 7. Any red whose entire marketing language is smooth, easy drinking, and approachable, with no mention of where the grapes came from. That is a commercial brief, not a winemaking philosophy. The product was built to a flavor target rather than grown to one. The target is smooth. The path to smooth, at $12 a bottle, runs through Mega Purple. Here is where it turns. The same research that confirms 25 million bottles are fixed each year tells you exactly what the unfixed version looks like. Chapter: What Honest Wine Looks Like. Number 8. Pale Pinot Noir, Grenache, or Gamay with color appropriate to the grape. Thin-skinned varieties with genuinely pale, transparent color have nowhere to hide additive use. If the hue is honest, the wine is honest. Number 9. Any bottle showing real vintage variation. A 2021 that tastes noticeably different from the 2022 because the weather was different. A producer trusting the fruit is a producer not correcting it. Number 10. Old world wine from a strict certified appellation. EU regulations around permitted winemaking additives are stricter than American law. A Burgundy, AOC, a Barolo, DOCG, or a traditional Rioja Reserva operates inside a legal framework that restricts manipulation of the finished wine at a level Central Valley mass market production simply doesn't face. If this kind of breakdown is useful to you, the subscribe button is right there. There's a lot more where this came from. Number 11, organic or biodynamic certified producers. The ethos and the additive are structurally incompatible. Producers committed to that framework are, as a matter of identity, not reaching for a Rubired concentrate. Many of these producers sit within the broader natural wine movement, a growing countercurrent in the industry built specifically around no undisclosed interventions in the cellar. The movement exists, in large part, because of exactly what we've been talking about. Number 12, wine whose aromatics match the variety. You can smell what's supposed to be in the bottle. The Grenache smells like Grenache. The Tempranillo smells like Tempranillo. Nothing has suppressed what the grape spent a season producing. That sensory fidelity is what the industry means by terroir, the idea that a wine should taste of the specific place and season it came from, not of a concentrate engineered to mimic that. When the glass smells like the variety, terroir is intact. Number 13, producers who name a specific vineyard or subregion on the label. A winemaker who tells you exactly where the grapes came from isn't hiding what is in the bottle. Origin, transparency, and process. Transparency travel together. Number 14, any producer who publishes their full additive list. A small and growing number of houses now do this voluntarily because they're proud of the answer. Randall Graham of Bonnie Doon has called publicly for mandatory ingredient labeling on wine for years, arguing that full disclosure would separate producers who use the fruit from producers who use the concentrate. Here is the number you carry out of this video. 25 million bottles every year contain an undisclosed additive. The law doesn't require the label to mention. The product is legal. It is grape-derived. It is approved. Recall 40,000 bottles, and it becomes a news story. Put it in 25 million, and it becomes standard practice. The label tells you the grape. It tells you the vintage. It tells you the region. It doesn't have to tell you whether the color, the sweetness, and the texture you're tasting came from the vineyard, from the terroir, or from a Rubired concentrate engineered in California to pass for all three. Now you know what to look for.